Another week and another EU5 Dev Diary. I really wonder what new things this update has brought. Let's see. What? Oceania? As it turns out, quite recently Paradox released a new so-called Tinto talk about my lovely Oceania. And this will be my reaction to it. At the end, I will present some concepts from my vision of how a historically accurate Oceanian gameplay could look like. So, especially if any devs are watching this, watch till the end. Holy shit, I'm scared. It's Tinto Talks Maps. Oh, Tinto Maps. Number 27. 22 of November 2024. Oceania. Hello and welcome to another Friday, devoted to map worship. You might remember me, Pavia, from previous Tinto Maps, as Roger Cominas has been dutifully taking care of the last 6 devs diaries. Now he's focusing on some other tasks. I think that it's not really important. I wonder how they portrayed this great civilization, stretching thousands of kilometers, a civilization that on daily basis made great voyages for like several thousand kilometers or even more. I wonder how they showed a civilization that knew every natural method of navigation that is known to modern science, being ahead of even the Vikings or Phoenicians in these aspects. How they presented a civilization that reached the Americas by sailing for more than 18,000 kilometers in both directions. A civilization that independently of foraging influence created its own writing, which happened only a few times in entire history, confirming their excellence and great cultural heritage. A civilization that created entire maps with extreme accuracy. A civilization that, thanks to an advanced culture of oratory masters, was able to record with accuracy all of its history, like orally. A civilization that had an ancient legacy, starting with the absolutely ancient Fijian Empire, Empire of Fiji, going through the legendary and sacred Tui Manua, ending with gargantuan Tui Tongan Empire. A civilization whose memory and respect for its ancestors and religion was so strong and alive that year after year, on particular day of the year, they would choose to make a long journey just to pay a tribute to the Tui Manua dynasty, which was considered holy. And these tributes came regularly even from Hawaii. So like 7,000 kilometers or something like that, in a straight line. And the Oceanians themselves, in folk memory, were able to reconstruct maps of the thousands of islands and archipelagos with electrifying accuracy. And this is only tip of the iceberg. And, well, I'm very curious how Paradox depicted this civilization. It's fucking empty! Oh my gosh. This is fucking horrible. A bit different map today, as there are no regular countries in the entire region. Oh, really? Really? All of them are societies of pops. Also, down to the right. What is this? What is even... What the fuck is even this island? Is that a Mu continent reference? What the fuck? And what is this? This is a fucking... I don't know. Like, are these some Mu continent remnants? What the fuck? Or not? No, this actually looks more like some cyberpunk dystopia. What the fuck? And why New Caledonia looks like that? What the fuck? That's weird. And what happened to the Chook Islands? Why Pompeii looks like that? Where's the Corsa? Corsi? I don't know how to spell that. It looks weird. Philippines are wrong. Tondo is super big. It was literally just a one city-state. That's just weird. I hope it will be corrected or something. Oh, down to the right. That is not a linear Atlantis, but our 3D material testing island. I hope that this thing near New Caledonia is also 3D material testing islands, because it never existed. Okay, what they're saying here. It might be relevant to repeat our guidelines for how to categorize countries and other societies. Organized through states, which implies a public power holding. Absolute monarchy. Monopoly of violence. Oh, for sure that's not here. For sure. For sure. In most versions of the legends, feudal rule had become oppressive under its abusive, centralized social system. Okay. Tax collection. For sure, they never invented anything like that. It could never happen. Not here, that's some fucking remote island. How it would be possible to collect tax there? That's impossible. Commoners were required to present the ruler with frequent tributes of fruit and fish. Like, I know that Paradox Believer will say something like, but they didn't buy the tribute with fish and fruits, they buy tribute with gold. Just like in EU4. But I don't think it needs any comment. The tribute system was initially seasonal, however over time the demands of settlers left the population starving and living as slaves, as they had to pay in labor and offer most materials first to the ruler. That's interesting. I would never thought that. Public works. Writing and recording keeping systems. It happened through the oratory masters, and their oral tradition, which was very, very detailed. And also on some islands they developed writing, as I said. So, to sum up, I can counter all this nonsense from memory using a freaking Wikipedia. And Wikipedia is very bad for Oceania. And that's just one example of one island. That's only Pompeii, and there are around 10k islands, or even more in entire Oceania. I don't know how many thousands it is, but there is really a lot of them. All with their own unique systems, and that's just too much to explain. So, I don't know who's in their research team, but that's pretty freaking bad. Societies of POPs. Stateless societies, as they call it. Chiefdom authority, that's what happened for most of Oceania, but not everywhere. Some Oceanian islands had centralized kingdoms and even empires. Permanent settlements, that's practically everywhere in Oceania. Agricultural development, that's also practically everywhere in Oceania. Some kinds of taxation that's happened basically everywhere. Non-tag cultures, there's some bands and king groups, so hunter-gatherers and other stuff, so that's like Papua New Guinea or Australia, I think. Oh no, they called Hawaii societies of poops and portrayed it completely fucking wrong. Oh my gosh. For example, look at Fiji. What the fuck are these borders? What the fuck is this? What the... what even is that thing? What the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? Like, I know the Swedish government is spying for hiring workers with disabilities, but hiring people with Parkinson to draw your maps is something else. What the fuck, paradox? What the fuck? Fiji at the time... wait, I need to look at my notes. Oh. Fiji at the time had like plus 100 tikinas, which were like traditional villages, but all of them formed confederacies, and there were around 3 confederacies, and apparently you can quite easily find these confederacies in Google. Just Google Fijian tribal confederacies and write enter, and apparently the first result are accurate borders of these 3 confederacies that existed for most of the Fijian history. And paradox somehow, I don't know how, thought that this is the most accurate depiction of these confederacies. Now maybe look at New Zealand. There are few societies of pups! What the fuck even that means? There are few societies of pups in Oceania, in 3 main hubs: Hawaii, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, and New Zealand. What? What do you even mean? There were chiefdoms like everywhere. In Cook Islands, in the Marshall Islands, in Caroline Islands, where you had even an empire, so-called Yap Empire, like Kiribati, fucking every archipelago had chiefdoms. What are you talking about? These things you've mentioned here, Hawaii, Fiji, Samoa, Tonga, New Zealand, and Pohnpei, Curacao, and a few others, they had organized kingdoms, not fucking societies of poops. I don't know what is the logic behind this. Even this fucking Maori stuff in New Zealand is made wrong. What are these borders? What the fuck is this placement? Why they are called Aravan people, Ngati Tonga people? Ngati is like a word for a tribe or some sort. Just use names Arawan, Tohone and stuff like that. You don't need to add people because they weren't some uncivilized people, but they had like chiefdoms and stuff, or even kingdoms. I really have no words for that. What the fuck is this? They also made some maps of provinces, and it looks at least weird. Australia looks weird, and what the fuck is this Papua one? Oh my gosh. Australia has... it's just completely wrong. Papua is also... I don't know what it does even show. Oh, here they have some more provinces. I hope these are like more similar to the actual placement of tribes. Papua looks like... what the fuck is this? You had some like Reddit map with the accurate placement of all these languages and tribes, because Papua and Vanuatu, they had a system of so-called wontoks, and these wontoks organized in language groups, where a certain language was like their people, and people who speak a different language were enemies and different people. So apparently polities and political organization in Papua and quite kinda Solomon Islands and Vanuatu organized in these poops. I mean, not poops, but wontoks. Vanuatu had like 138 language groups. If I'm not correct, please correct me. Papua had a lot of them, and Solomon Islands had also quite a lot of them. Okay, end of these laughs. Now I'd like to present what Oceania could look like in this game. Surely, we should mention a few crucial empires, the so-called Oceanian majors. The first and the largest one would be the Tui Tonga Empire, which in 1300s was already more than a century past its peak of expansion, but still held the position of a hegemon of this part of the globe. In contrast, next to the Tui Tonga Empire, on a single island existed Tui Manua. Tui Manua was a much older empire, and the dynasty ruling there had some kind of a sign status. And for this reason, the Tongans left this one island to them on purpose. The situation was that the Tui Manua family was fine with the fact that they received tribute from all the Polynesians every year, so it didn't benefit them to contest this Tui Tongan position. And the Tui Tonga didn't want to destroy or subjugate the Tui Manua completely because the Tui Manuans had this holy status, so the political situation stalled for ages. So maybe perhaps we could direct Tui Manua and bring its former empire brightness back. In general, regarding expansionary policies, Oceanians had no concept of land conquest. They had colonies at best, but most conquests were actually just some massive vassalizations. So in consequence, these states in Oceania can't have a vassal limit. Conquest states collapsed very quickly. The state that suddenly expanded with massive conquest of some kind simply collapsed just after death of its ruler. So there can be a mechanic where after a sudden conquest the country collapses, and the challenge would be to at least partly reclaim their former lands. While it would be safer to conquer slowly, vassalizing island by island. An example of such empire was Yap's empire, sometimes called Yapping Empire, which only had 3 good islands around, and just around these 3000s it was in the face of a slow and gradual domination of more islands. It's also worth mentioning that at some point Tonga Empire stopped its expansion, and that's because they wanted to leave a lot of buffer islands, because as it turns out, raiding other islands was more profitable than peacefully collecting tributes from their own subjects, and the Oceanians overall were raiding themselves constantly. The exceptions to the rule, so fully centralized states, were the Kingdom of Pohnpei and Corsa. Or Corsa, yeah, I don't know. There were a few more such minor kingdoms, but these two were the strongest ones, although still not comparable in power to the major empires like Tui Tonga. In addition, when playing a small politically fragmented island, such as there were many in Oceania, to avoid adding every micro-chieftainship on the map, you can make such a window where there would be a map of the fiefdoms on the island and the internal politics, and once it's run smoothly, everyone might unite and set out to conquer the entire archipelago, what happens historically on the island of Beru, for example. That's in Kiribati. But I must point out that achieving such an island peace would have to be really difficult, and even after it's achieved, it should be unstable. So restoring the glory of Tui Manua, developing Yap's empire, reversing the slow decline of Tui Tonga, maybe the controversial conquest of Manua, or creating your own oceanic empire from scratch, as well as colonizing territories on other continents and many other interesting scenarios, could be done right in Oceania. If anyone would be interested, maybe some modders, or maybe Paradox itself, I don't know, then I can always help in inventing such mechanics and assist with maps. You can email me, I have it hooked on the main channel, or just write a comment here. And I think that's everything I have to say about Oceania. There probably could be more mechanics invented, but still, I haven't researched all of the continent. I researched in fact only some small parts, but my goal is to make the video about entire Oceania and its history, so I'm gonna develop my knowledge more and more. Okay, so that's probably it. I hope Oceania will get some better treatment. I don't know, because that's horrible.